everyone, my name is Alexandra Kirsting, and today I'll be discussing international adoption, mainly focusing on China and their policy and programs. Let's begin. So, adoption worldwide. Children are out there far across oceans, babies, toddlers, and teens, who are for unknown reason are alone in this harsh world. These children have no one connected by blood relatives or by law, but instead are at the hands of those that are taking care of them at the moment, which can be both good or bad. So, I found out that I believe is very shocking and a little bit heartbreaking that 153 million children or orphans are with only one parent, while 17.9 million orphans are without any parents at all. By definition, an orphan is a child that has one or less parents. So, when this happens, these children are either left to be in orphanages or on the streets, fending for themselves, and they are lacking the care and attention that is needed for healthy development, both physically, intellectually, and they're also at the risk for disease, malnutrition, and even death. So, adoption in China and the program itself is actually one of the most stable programs from any other country, compared to any other country, actually. They operate through the China Center for Children's Welfare and Adoption, which is a CCCWA, and is 20 years of experience. And one thing that's very interesting, and I find very humbling even, is they focus in the priority of special needs children. They speed up the process and of placement from application to placement for special needs is 12 to 18 months, while for healthy child it takes up to 6 or more years. And I've actually read stories recently about people that are finally getting their referrals and their placement for 10 plus years ago. And so, next question is, why are children put up for adoption in China? One of the most almost well-known or familiar term many people, when you think of China adoption or China in general, is the one-child policy, or better known as a family planning policy, which was established in 1978 and then was enforced from then on to 1980, and has actually been phased out in 2015, around that time. The thing, though, with the one child is that there were many exceptions, along with ethnic minorities were exempt. So that did place a lot of babies in orphanages and put up for adoption, which leads to the next one, which is girls' stigma. And with having a one-child policy put in place, China's culture and the way they believe girls aren't valued as high as guys, because boys are believed to grow up, succeed, be able to get a job, and support their parents, elderly parents, as they grow old and take care of them. Whereas girls are seen as they get a job or get married and they leave and they don't come back. They aren't able to take care of their family because they have to take care of their family type thing. So the next one is health problems. So adoption in China, and the reason why babies are put up for adoption is many families can't afford medical bills and medical procedures that are needed on their babies. Sometimes they get from, some of these babies have something simple as an extra digit, or more difficult where it is a cleft lip, cleft palate, they are having heart murmur, or even more severe problems. So that's another one. And then along with that is smaller, not as big of an issue, is loss of parents. So, I mean, I guess you would say logical reason, or more or less, is when parents tragically die or something happens because of health or whatever, these kids are put up for adoption. Moving on, so why adoption is one of, in my opinion, one of the bigger questions for not only the future family, but for the kids that are put up for adoption. Children all over the world, not only in China, are struggling on a daily basis to achieve basic needs for healthy life. However, there are many misconceptions and myths about adoption, which I will continue. I will discuss that in the next slide. Actually, adoption is still adoption is very much needed, and they do need homes. There are many families that wish to expand their families, which can't. Sometimes it's because they're older parents and they want to have a kid and they can't, or they for whatever reason. So moving on to myths about adoption is going to be adoption isn't needed anymore. From when I was adopted in 1995, it has progressed and gotten a lot better because of the one child policy that was lifted, and is now a 2-child policy. There aren't as many healthy, per se, children up for adoption. But that doesn't mean that there isn't any, that children don't need to be adopted anymore. There is more children that have disabilities that need the money and the loving homes that us American families are able to grant. Another one is only girls need homes. Back in 1995, like I had talked about with the girls' stigma, many orphanages were filled up with girls because they were believed people would have babies to hopefully have a son. And the first one's a girl, we'll have another one, and hopefully it'll be a boy since we only have one child. And that was enforced during those dates. And right now, there are many boys that are needing homes, and which are, a lot of them do have special needs. However, China actually is one of the only countries that allow a gender, to allow you to pick gender, basically. And one of the myths just about adoption in general, and I think my family, since I myself was adopted and my 2 younger sisters were, is the child won't love me, or the child won't love me, or I will not love my child as much as, say, my biological son or biological child. My parents I have had a biological son, which is my older brother, which is 6 years older than me. However, I have never experienced any doubt of them not loving me not getting the same treatment as him, or vice versa. And I think at first my mom had struggled with, and I think my dad as well, struggled with, well, I love this baby that is just handed to me, basically, and now I didn't give birth. I didn't go through that 9-month process. But the thing is that, like, you grow and love the child just as if it's your own. And I see my sisters and my brother as my biological blood relatives. Like, I don't see them as, by law, my siblings, or by law, my family. Like, to me, that's my family. So, the thing also about adoption, which carries on to the next slide, is what happens if children time out of the orphanages. In China, at age 14, they can't hold a child anymore. That's their age when they believe, like, you're on your own type thing. And unfortunately, at 14, if you're in an orphanage, that's not that long. I mean, and if you have a disability or you have a medical issue, like, it's not resolved by 14, like, you're on your own. And the sad thing is that when you time out, or when you are kicked out of the orphanage, you're on your own. Many majority of the children are homeless. They live on streets. They beg. They can't really hold a job, and they struggle for a majority of their life. So it's very sad and concerning. And, like, another thing is too is that for girls and boys, higher percentage of girls is they are sex trafficked, they are sexually assaulted, they are put into very dangerous situations that they cannot get out of, and that becomes basically their end of their story, end of their life, because they are put into such bad environments and whatnot. So, conclusion with that is adoption is a deep, meaningful way to create families and provide orphan and vulnerable children a protected, safe, and secure environment which allows them to grow and thrive. So, in my opinion, not everyone obviously can't go out and go adopt a child. Sometimes, your lifestyle or whatever prohibits that. However, I believe that as long as you educate yourself, you don't forget that these children are out there, and you try your hardest to educate others and if you know someone that's looking for a child that is able to open up their homes, that you can let them know that there's many agencies that you can talk to and even some care packages and whatnot. Thank you very much for listening to my speech, and I hope you learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to your feedback and what you all think. Thanks.